Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're very welcome along to the opening round of the Digital Motorsports TCR Cup. We're here at Donington National we're here for the opening round. Just finished the F3. We are here once again for the Touring Car Championship from the Donington National Park in Leicestershire in the UK. First opened in 1931. Hosts so many rounds of British motorsport here, British F3, British Superbikes, BTCC, but we're here for touring cars today. Joining me in the box, Adam Batts, Samuel working hard on the cameras. Adam, 58 touring cars about to go around Donington National. I think we're in for a good one.
Yeah, we're always on for a good one if you get the timing screen open and you've got to scroll down to see everybody that's in the session. So really looking forward to seeing what's going to take place today. You're right, we've got 50 plus cars. At the moment, we've got a lone qualifying session going on at the moment, so the drivers won't be seeing each other on track for now, but once they've set their qualifying times, they'll be on the grid, and we've got two very quick races coming up for you, plus a reverse grid too, so there's plenty to watch out for. This classic iconic circuit.
Yeah, indeed. We've got two 15-lap races, with the second feature race being an inverse grid with the top 20 getting reversed. So it's going to make for interesting racing. And of course, we've got some notable names in here making their debut as well. Can't quite see him on the timing screen, but if you have heard of WRC driver Craig Breen, he is making his debut tonight in league racing here at the Digital Motorsports Championship. Just got his brand new sim rig last week, but he is here racing with us today. And of course, the returning champion from the F3, Keith Dempsey, with us. Peter Dempsey, so many cars. Dan Harper as well, BMW junior driver. So many names joining us in sim racing. And of course, sim racing in a bit of a golden era at the moment with everything being cancelled. We're just making the best of what we got, Adam.
Yeah, it's true. I saw the NASCAR race at the weekend that got record viewers over in the States, and we've seen many other sims games all having record numbers on social media and YouTube as well. So yeah, we're looking forward to this, and obviously the drivers have turned out in great numbers today, and looking forward to seeing who's going to be on the pole position here with some big names, as you were mentioning there, in this race too.
So currently it is Jason Cooper leading the way on a 1:11.5, very short lap around this national circuit. Of course, just ignores the back of the circuit, it ignores about 3 corners in total, just skips the S's and the 2 hairpins at the end. But 1:11.5 for Jason Cooper, and Steen Ledger second, just a tenth of a second behind. Then Keith Dempsey, the reigning champion, just right there in the Turn 3 motorsport car. F3 champion back in touring cars and still ever as quick. Graham Quinn in 4th place at the moment. The brother of Niall Quinn, who is also racing with us, who's the GTE Pro champion from previously. Peter Dempsey, the brother of Keith, of course, over in the States. And involved heavily with Turn 3 Motorsport. On your screen right now is Craig Breen making his debut. Just mentioned him there, but brand new driver in the league, brand new to sim racing in general. And from what I understand, he's been really enjoying it, getting used to these TCR cars. A very different discipline to what he's used to, of course, going around in the Hyundai WRC car, but he's here in a touring car for once. And Adam, how do you think he's going to get on? Different discipline, but I think he's going to do well.
Well, Sebastian Loeb, he made the switch from World Valley Championships to touring cars. He went to the WTCC there, and he performed not too bad, did he, really? He was racing against the likes of Ivan Muller and was still able to beat them on their day. So I reckon Craig could be in with a shout of doing quite well. And here he is. I believe he's on his 2nd qualifying lap. In fact, we're looking here at... we are looking at Craig Breen as he goes up to the top of the hill, and yeah, he's not doing too badly, is he? He's only half a second away from Jason Cooper, who is very experienced in these Audi touring cars, so I think Craig's in for a decent evening if things carry on the way they're going now.
Yeah, not too bad. Top 10 at the moment and on a personal best lap, so we're just running down the back. This is Starkey Straight we're going down before we head into the national part of the circuit, which is just the last corner, the last chicane right here. Usually we would head to the left-hand side and down the back of the circuit, but here we go into the right-hander. How does Craig negotiate this? Up over those big curves and down towards the line. Is it going to be an improvement? It will be, because he's on a personal best lap across the line. Craig Breen, where does he go? He comes across the line to do a 1:12. Doesn't look like it's going to be an improvement there, but he stays 9th, so not too bad from Craig right there. Top 10 start on his debut with such an experienced field. Not bad at all right there.
Yeah, if you're new to iRacing, if you do make a small error, maybe just put 2 wheels onto the dirt, that will invalidate your lap. If you go off the track at any point, it does do that, and Craig Breen may have come a cropper with that. But as we cut back now to Sergio Graben, he's coming up to the right-hander here. Very easy for 2 cars to come together. It's a blind entry almost, and then you've got this long right-hander, which if you're the car running behind, it does allow you to set the car up in front and here we are coming to probably one of the main overtaking points on the circuit, and fortunately there's a bit of runoff area at the chicane, because if you get it wrong you can then hop across it and then get back on the circuit as Grabban comes for the final corner now and up to the timing line.
Yeah, Sergio, very experienced in the digital motorsports era. He's raced in every single championship almost that has been on offer. 18th quickest at the moment, but the field, I mean, 23, 25 cars separated by just over 9/10 of a second. That is how close it is. But Jason Cooper, very experienced, and he's showing it. Pole position for the opening round, 1:11.5, ahead of Steen Ledger and Keith Dempsey, who still remains as quick as ever no matter what car you put him in. So let's have a look at who is going to be lining up for race 1, which is, of course, a 15-lap race. Here we go. Jason Cooper on pole position in the number 3 car. Steen Ledger in second place, 1/10 of a second behind. Keith Dempsey not too far behind on third place. Graham Quinn in fourth. Peter Dempsey in fifth. And Adrian Campfield doing well in sixth place. Jordan Kelly, as ever, in 7th place. Damien Harris 8th. Craig Breen in 9th place. And Dan Harper right behind him in 10th. Then we have Brian Egan just outside the top 10 in 11th place. And Fraser Smith in 12th place in the number 67 car. So interesting to see how Craig's going to get on from 9th place, and Peter Dempsey doing well in 5th there. Then further down, Colin Bays in 13th place, Arius Yamantas 14th, Brian McManus down in 15th place, James Holman 16th, Robbie Moore in 17th, Sergio Grabman 18th, Niall Quinn all the way down in 19th, then Shane Rabbit in 20th, Davey Yamamoto in 21st place, Robert Barrable behind him, then Jamie Moylan in 23rd, and Keith Rabbit in 24th. Now, these guys very experienced in the F3 cars, but it's a very different discipline. 25th, Tony Stark, then Chris Bays, Naveed Hussain in 27th, Evan Walsh, Adam Dowling, Peter McCann, then Nicky Meredith, Olivier Van Her, Keen Carey, an F3 racer there in 33rd, Barry Rabbit 34th, Ronan Haderman down in 35th place, and Connor Murphy in 36th place. This is only a second off pole position, but this is how far it can put you down the grid. As the cars are currently gridding up. 37th place, Diarmuid Toomey, then Dave Collier in 38th, Alex Denning 39th, Kyle Stevens, Pat Masterson, Patrick McKenna, Shane Burke, James Wingfield, Max Turley, Simon Wall, David Budrys, Damien McMullen back with us, great to see him as well. In 48th place on the grid, then Rob O'Neill, Jack Byrne, Mark Carey, Neil Memory, Dave Sheehan, Nathan Healy, Owen Murray, Aaron Carey, and down the back, Wayne Douglas in 57th place on the grid. That is quite a lot of cars lining up on the grid. This is going to be absolutely fantastic.
Take a breath, Jack. Wow, what an effort that was, reading through all 50 plus cars. And here we go, we're about to get going.
Here we go. I just took my breath from reading the grid, but now the 5 red lights are on for the start of the Digital Motorsports TCR Cup. And away we go. Good start, Jason Cooper. Very hard to get these cars off the line. Jason Cooper gets a good start away from pole position there. Steen Ledger follows behind. Keith Dempsey trying to get up the inside of Steen's. The run towards turn 1. He's up the inside, gets up the inside, takes second place away. Another one of the turn 3 motorsport cars making their way up the inside. Peter Dempsey, there's a spinner in the background. Couple of cars involved right there. That looked like Graham Quinn involved in that one as he falls down the field with Steen Ledger down to 3rd place. Keith Dempsey into 2nd, and a number of cars involved in that first turn. A debacle again. There's 58 cars trying to get through turn 1, but Jason Cooper clean away.
Yeah, that's the best possible start that Jason Cooper could have wished for. He's already left Keith Dempsey 0.8 of a second down the road, and he's got Steen Ledger right behind him. So watch out for that when we get onto the back straight. There were a few cars, as he said, that these TCR cars are incredibly difficult to get off the line. You've pretty much got to start with no revs, and if you rev the car at all before the lights go out, then you really are going to struggle to get the power down. So a few drivers come into terms with that, but for the most part, everybody through the first few corners without incident.
Brian McManus, a brilliant start from him. He started down in 15th place, already up to 9th, and Craig Breen right on the back of him. And again, Brian McManus on the back of Dan Harper down here. So he's sandwiched between some very experienced racers right here. Brian's going to have a look up the inside of the chicane. He's going to have a think about it. Robbie Moore in the back, just behind Craig Breen as well. And Brian McManus has made the move on Dan Harper. Now here comes Craig Breen. Robbie Moore looking for a move on Craig Breen as well. So there's a couple of cars, and Keith Dempsey is slowing down the main straight. What has happened to Keith? Has he got a slowdown penalty?
Yeah, if you get a slowdown penalty on the opening lap of the race, you are really going to be at a disadvantage. It gives you such a ton of time to give up. If you do it on lap 3 or lap 4 onwards, it's a lot less time. So Keith Dempsey really unfortunate for him. He's down to 6th place now.
Just now, Dan Harper under severe attack from Robert Moore. Craig Breen dropping back a little bit as Robert Barrable gets onto him as well. Look at his train of cars as well. Brian McManus, again, he's a very fast starter. He's up to 8th place. He's already challenging Fraser Smith, as you can see up ahead. And he made up 20 places in the final F3 race, and he did it within the first couple of laps. So he's doing it again here. Brian, very experienced in the Digital Motorsports Championship. Now he's going to have to think about having a look at the inside of the top of the hill here. Tricky to make it work, but he should get the slipstream down towards the end of the lap.
See if he does that then through the right-hander onto the back straight. Fight here for second place. This is Adrian Campfield versus Steen Ledger. Up the inside goes Steen. Let's see if we can get the move done. It looks like it's going to be a textbook move. He flops over the curb on the inside there, but no bother for him, and he is through into P2. But watch out for Campfield and maybe Peter Dempsey as they come across the line. Those two are just a few tenths of a second apart as they come over the line to start lap 3.
There goes Peter Dempsey up the inside of Adrian Campfield. As soon as he said it, he takes his opportunity straight up the inside. Adrian Campfield having a good run, but Peter Dempsey, as quick as he was in the F3 Championship, he's coming after Steen Ledger now. But Jason Cooper is just checking out front. He's over a second, nearly 2 seconds clear out front at the moment. Really awesome job so far. But again, there's 15 laps in this race. Anything can happen in it, and we've got to watch as well for Keith, who of course had that slowdown penalty, and he's now latched onto the back of that train behind.
A lot of position changes going over the line at the end of that previous lap. Craig Breen remains inside the top 10. That's 1 place down from where he qualified. Cooper, as he said, out front. But then we've got this train of contact there, and that's all that Dempsey needed.
I think that was a bump and run from Dempsey, if I'm honest. Peter Dempsey making his way through. Adrian Campfield comes through. Damien Harris comes through. And there is Keith Dempsey in the slipstream train. That is how quick you can lose positions in these TCR cars because of how close they run. He loses 4 positions. Keith's now up the inside into the chicane, right on the bumper as well. Can he make that work? Yes, he can. He goes through back to 5th place now. And just like that, Steen Ledger goes from 2nd to 6th in the space of 2 corners.
Slightest bit of contact, and I think we've got to expect that in the 2 races that we've got coming up today. I didn't expect to see it that early, that must be said, but here's a move up the inside. That is Fraser Smith, and also in the mix, that's Harper. That's Daniel Harper, the BMW junior driver that you were talking about at the beginning of the show. He's not afraid to get in the mix in the early stages.
No, he'd be very, very experienced with this circuit as well, having raced them in the Porsche Carreras as well. So it'd be interesting to see how a battle goes on between himself and Craig. So 2 very experienced Irish drivers. Interesting to see how they get on in the sim world. But Brian McManus into 7th place now, chasing after Steen Ledger, who started in 2nd place. He's down to 6th now. Looks to be struggling in the early part of this race. But of course, there's 2 races to go and an inverse grid after this one, so it should make for some interesting viewing. But Steen now in kind of the middle of nowhere at the moment, and just trying to latch onto the back of the train up front. That is still Peter Dempsey from Adrian Campfield, Damien Harris and Keith Dempsey.
We're maybe 4 laps in, but these drivers are still trying to get their tyres up to temperature. On the timing screen at the moment, there are a lot of purple sectors, so the driver's still waiting to set their optimal lap times as we come across the line to start lap 5. Fastest lap last time around, this time, is by Keith Dempsey, who is at the back of your shot there with the yellow mirrors, Turn 3 Motorsport, trying to get Damien Harris, and who in turn is trying to get by Adrian Campfield, who closes the door very late there, plunged down the Craner curves.
Down towards the old hairpin. Now you can hear him lifting, he doesn't want to get fully on the throttle because he'll end up in the back of Damien Harris's car. But this is on board with Keith Dempsey, the reigning F3 champion, virtual Leinster Trophy champion. He's got a lot of titles to his name, but he's in a brand new series right now, and he's not quite the quickest. He's got to fight his way through now, up through these cars. And again, you do form slipstream trains, but again, it's very hard to get out of them because the cars up front will also have slipstream off the car in front, and it's a vicious cycle. But it is being led by his brother, Peter Dempsey, just in front of your shot right there in the other Turn 3 Motorsport car. And these guys have had some great fights over the season as well. So it's always great to see them go toe-to-toe against each other. It's always the brotherly battles that seem to be the most intense. As Damien Harris has a look, and there's contact between himself and Adrian Campfield into the chicane. But I think Campfield just floored it and got it back straight again, which he did. And now Damien Harris is now going to look. They're going to try and go 3 abreast down the main straight. See if he can sort them out as they go down there. And again, there's 3 abreast in the background as well. There's craziness as Keith Dempsey takes the both of them around the outside. Brilliant move, Keith Dempsey. And Dan Harper takes 3 cars up the inside there as well. Brilliant moves from both Turn 3 Motorsport cars. Brilliant stuff.
I bet Craig Breen's sitting here thinking, well, what have I got myself in for here as Fraser Smith and Harper are all involved in action. It looked like there on the exit of the chicane that Damien Harris did have a slowdown penalty. That's why there was a bit of contact on the exit onto the front straight. He's now down to 5th place after all that, with Campfield 4th, and you're right, Keith Dempsey up into P3. But here's Harper and Smith. They're going at it again through the left-hander and up to the top of the hill. This is where we saw some contact earlier on in the race. Drivers taking different lines through there, running out onto the exit curb and now up the hill. You have to be quite opportunistic if you want to get a move done here, and maybe sometimes a bit rude, but no way through there here. But here we go onto the back straight again. This is where we saw the argy-bargy on the previous lap, and it looks like we might be getting more of the same this time.
Here comes Steen Ledger on his teammate Fraser Smith up the inside. Can he make it work there? Just notice well, Brian McManus has dropped down the field. Just had a problem there, and there's Steen Ledger up the inside trying to follow Dan Harper in the background. Craig Breen might have an opportunity now. 2 VRA racing cars behind him of Evan Walsh now getting himself involved with Brian McManus as well. This is going to be interesting. The VRA racing cars now. Craig's going to have to go defensive because he's got Evan Walsh on his outside, or Brian McManus, excuse me, and trying to go around the outside of Craig Breen. He might add that to his CV. He gets run out wide by Craig. Is not having it now. Here comes Evan Walsh up the inside, and he can get it work. Not quite. Craig is getting his elbows out. You gotta love to see it.
Oh, it's brilliant, isn't it? And I'm sure we're going to see more of this from Craig as the race meeting goes on. He's doing a decent job. He's right where he started in P9. That's where he wants to be. But I'm sure he'd like to get a bit further up the field and be in with a shout maybe of getting some decent points, or maybe even a top 5 as the race goes on. We are just past the halfway mark in this opening race of the day. 7 laps in the books, or just approaching the halfway point, I should say. And now into the right-hander, going onto the back straight again. On the previous lap, Rob Barrable came into the pits. Not too sure why. The privateer, number 44, looked like everything was okay, but nonetheless, he did come into the pits on the previous lap, so that is a shame for him in this opening race. He might be able to get some salvation in the reverse grid race later on, but here we are following Craig Breen through the final chicane, a little bit sideways on the exit, and that might allow the car behind Evan Walsh. He's gained 18 places in this race. He's done very well so far to try and close in a little bit.
Good man, Evan. 18 places up, exactly what he wanted. Again, he's just been picking his lines, doing his job, and now he's got to think about, because he's got Brian McManus up his inside now, his teammate. Just wouldn't do anything stupid here. Brian goes straight through. Evan opens the door for him, lets him straight through. Nothing doing there, because Brian is trying to recover this slot, and that looks like a lapped car in the way. It's James Wingfield just coming out of the way there and trying to get himself out of the way of so many cars. It's tricky enough, but fair play to James getting out of the way. And now I think action has settled down for just a moment.
Indeed, yeah, so top 10 as you can see on your screen. Cooper, Dempsey, and then Campfield, Harris, Harper, Ledger, Smith, Breen and McManus. Here's some of the fights that are going on outside the top 10. This is Wingfield that is getting lapped by Niall Quinn. And also behind his Aegis Germantus there in 14th place. Has got a decent run as well on the exit of the right-hander. There's the 4 car. He's right where he started as well, like we saw with Craig Bean earlier. Looks like he's too far away to get a move done up the inside into the chicane. Having said that, he's missed his braking point and he's gone off.
Classic case of commentator's curse right there. So Germantus goes straight off at the chicane, trying to get past Niall Quinn as well. Another reigning champion in digital motorsports. He won the GTE championship a while back, but struggled to get past Arias Germantus there. Now Dan Harper, severe pressure from Steen Ledger down the craner curves into the old hairpin. Extremely tricky to follow. It's not really an overtaking opportunity because of how narrow it is. Past the old bridge on the left-hand side. He used to go over the circuit. Just see it there, the aqueduct. Now, where is Steen going to pick his move? Not going to be quite at the top of the hill here. He might have to already think about the last chicane. Going to get right on the bumper. Dan just covers the inside line. Steen tries to get the cutback. And just a little bit of contact there, I think, on the way out. But these cars always going for a bit of bumping. There was definitely contact there and straight off the road. That was most certainly a bump and run from Steen Ledger. And Dan Harper has unfortunately been left out to dry there.
Maybe a smash and grab more like, as Harper had been putting on a good defensive display up until that point. I was just about to compliment him on that, but it looks like the car behind him had other ideas. He's trying to get back into some sort of rhythm here, as Brian McManus was trying to get by. He's now got to get by Craig Breen now, Dan Harper. I don't think that was his fault at all. It was one nudge, which became a bigger nudge, and eventually he was finding himself off the circuit. But Harper has still got 5 laps or so to try and get some of those places back, and that is a place also for Craig Breen, because he's now up into P8. As here are the 2 VRA racing teammates. They happen to stop fighting each other for the last few laps, and who's this now joining the fight? This is Shane Rabbit.
You love to see Shane Rabbit getting his elbows out into a place. Always great to see Shane racing with us now. He's more used to driving an RX-7 touring car, so this is a little bit different for him, but he's enjoying himself, trying to get himself inside the top 10, gets past Evan Walsh. And here he comes, trying to go on the inside of Brian McManus. Can he take 2 cars in one? Brilliant move. Shane Rabbit, can he make it work? There's contact, there's door-to-door contact on the way out. But Shane Rabbit into the top 10 now. He'll be well happy with that. Can he fend off Brian McManus down the straight? It's going to be tricky because Brian gets the cut back on the way out. A little bit of door-to-door banging as they run through there. Brian goes straight back through again, and Evan is going to have a little think about going back at it again. But this is allowing Niall Quinn to get himself involved as well. He's just outside there in the Targa Sim Sport car. Now, can he get down the inside? He has to think about it, but Brian is back ahead once again. But great racing from the VRA regulars.
This is great racing, isn't it? One thing we do like to see in these on iRacing is cars and drivers really struggling to control the car. And these cars may be front-wheel drive, but when they're on the brakes, they're slipping and sliding all over the place. And this fight isn't over yet. And number 35 there, Niall Quinn, he nearly fancied a chance up the inside into Redgate, but decided better of it. Problem here for Fraser Smith, who has dropped down to 9th place now. That's a shame for him because he was running well.
Yeah, just looks like a little mistake from him there, just running off at turn number 1. But now he's under pressure from Brian McManus, trying to look up the inside. But all that, of course, has allowed Craig Breen to get in another spot up to 7th place. He's doing quite well. But he's under pressure from Dan Harper. So now we've got a 5-car train right here. Brian McManus trying to get past Fraser Smith, who's just had a mistake. But he's got to watch behind. Shane Rabbit's all over him in the background as well, the number 24 car. Who is going to come out on top in this battle? You'd love to see it. Lap 11 of 15. It's still Jason Cooper, who is completely clear out front, but Keith Dempsey lighting up the timing screens with fastest lap after fastest lap. So it's going to be interesting to see how he gets on. But we are focused on this battle for the top 10.
One thing that's great about this is all of these guys that are in the top 10. This is based on qualifying. Once race 2 starts, these guys are going to be in the midfield trying to get back to the front again. So we're going to see more of the same of this as they come over the line. A little bit of a wiggle there by Shane Rabbit, and look at that, that's Fraser Smith having to go on the defensive. To the outside goes Brian McManus into Redgate. He's going to try and get the cut back here, and it looks like he might just get it. Will we see a move into the old hairpin? It is probably one of the toughest places to get a move done at Donington Park. So far, Fraser Smith putting up a solid defensive display there. He should defend the inside line. He goes back to the racing line, and Brian McManus cannot get up the inside, but it looks like he might have just got a better run through the exit of turn 3 there. We'll have to wait and see, as Craig Breen looks like he's gained another place. He's trying to get past Steen Ledger.
And that's another problem for the other full send racing car of Steen Ledger. Another problem for him. Craig Breen up to 7th, Darren Harbour up to 7th. And Steen Ledger trying to recover some lost ground. Now he's trying to go around the outside of Dan Harper. Can he make that one work with the traction? There's a little bit of contact on the way out, a little bit of door banging, no harm done right there. But down towards the chicane, can he make anything working in the background? Evan Walsh trying to get up the inside of Shane Rabbit as well for 11th place. A lot of door banging going on, but these guys are loving this in the difference from the F3 car. Niall Quinn trying to go around the outside of Evan Walsh. Lovely move. Niall Quinn just caught Evan napping a little bit there, I think.
What a fantastic move that was, and it's on down the front straight. I thought they were going to take each other out then for a brief moment. Fraser Smith not giving an inch, neither too is Brian McManus. We saw these two fighting at this very spot on the previous lap, and they're back at it again.
Yeah, I think there's just a little bit of door rubbing. I think Brian is just getting a little bit frustrated behind Fraser. I think he knows he's quicker than him, so let's see if he can just get himself ahead again. But Niall Quinn is coming for this top 10 as well, because he wants to get a good position for the reverse grid. With only 2 laps left to run after this, another car's getting out of the way right there. Just another lapped car, but now here comes Niall Quinn just locking up the rears right there, trying to get it into the corner right there, and now following behind Shane Rabbit. That's Dave Sheehan just up ahead that's getting out of the way. He's getting himself well out of the way, I must say. Dave Sheehan, a DJ actually, and is plastered all over his car. So if you want to go listen to some music, he actually made the intro music, so thanks to Dave for that. But Niall Quinn on the back of Shane Rabbit now, and it's going to be really tough to make any move past him. And up ahead, you can just see the other car of Brian McManus. He's still stuck behind Fraser Smith and is unable to make a move.
The time along we go then, penultimate lap of the race. There's a car off.
There's a car off there. Who is that? That's Robert Barrable spinning around in the background. I think there was contact with somebody else. But now Shane Rabbit trying to get himself, just trying to get up the inside, just trying to stick his nose in right there. Not quite going to be able to do that, but Niall Quinn now has an outside line. And Peter Dempsey, has he had a problem? Or is he trying to get himself behind? Yeah, he has had a problem. He's dropped down to 4th place now. He's been off the road.
I think he and his teammate were having a battle for 2nd place. It looked like it on the timing screen, and it looks like Peter Dempsey's come off the worst for wear. Not too sure how it happens, but he's now down to 4th place. He's off the podium.
That is not great for Peter Dempsey. Another car stopped on the outside there. Not quite sure that is. Now Peter Dempsey's got to fight his way back to 2nd place, but he's got to get past Damien Harris first. He's just up ahead of him right here. Can he get himself up the inside? Keith, of course, was going fast lap after fastest lap. Damien covers it. Adrian Campfield trying to get up the inside of Peter as well. trying to get out there as the white flag is waved, as Jason Cooper still leads this race, by the way. He's a country mile out front. Keith Dempsey, Damien Harris third, Peter Dempsey looking for this podium place, Adrian Campfield on the outside there, then Craig Breen just in the background as well. He's not too far off the back of there. Here goes Peter Dempsey all the way around the outside as Contact lights up the throttle, and off the road he goes, and that should give Craig Breen another place unless he can just not quite get there. But Peter Dempsey down to 5th place, and now here comes Adrian Campfield, on Damien Harris. Tricky place to make a move. Can he make that one work around the outside of the old hairpin? This Contact lights up the front tires but goes off the road, and that was never going to end well into the old hairpin. It's so tricky to make a move right there. Peter Dempsey back up to 3rd place, Adrian Campfield into 4th. Damien Harris is now Craig Breen is getting to get himself involved in this battle, which is still raging even though they've just been off the road.
Well, Damien Harris, that was good courteous driving from him. He slowed down to allow Adrian Campfield back out onto the circuit, and all of a sudden Peter Dempsey looks like he's back on the podium again, as here comes Jason Cooper, who's not had a thing to worry about all race.
Brilliant job. Dominating display from Jason Cooper. He wins the opening race of the Digital Motorsports TCR Cup. He takes reverse grid 20th place, should I say. And then Keith Dempsey recovers to 2nd place. And who's going to come out on top in that battle behind Peter Dempsey should have 3rd place secured. Adrian Campfield is going to hold on for 4th place. Damien Harris for 5th. And Craig Breen finishes in 6th place with a great display. Brian McManus recovers to 7th place. Fraser Smith in 8th. And then Robert Moore in 9th. Chris Bays 10th. David Yamamoto comes through to 11th place. And Evan Walsh in 12th. Arias Yamantis 13th, and Dan Harper only managed 14th. He dropped all the way down from 6th